Dear President, dear Mario, dear Rector, dear Dame Minouche Shafik, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, very sorry that I can't be with you in Milan this afternoon. I wanted to be there, but I need to be in Brussels today for new discussions with the UK government. Nevertheless, I still want to say a few words to you. The launch of this double degree is important. It shows that two of our most prestigious universities, one on the continent, one in Britain, but both in Europe, will continue to work together. They will even step up their cooperation after the UK has left the EU. I have always said that our future partnership with the UK should be as broad and ambitious as possible. And your initiative is a good example of what we can achieve together. But I also understand that many of you are concerned by Brexit. In only 40 days, the UK will leave the EU. I personally regret this decision. In today's world, we have strong reasons to be united, not divided. But we must accept the sovereign decision of the British people. A member state has the right to leave the Union. The Union is no prison. The EU is a project built by countries and people who choose to pursue shared dreams, peace rather than war, solidarity rather than isolation, prosperity through cooperation. It is also a project founded in law, which promotes rules-based international order. Over the last 18 months, we have negotiated a very detailed agreement, nearly 600 pages, with the UK. It brings certainty where Brexit creates uncertainty. For EU citizens living in the UK and UK citizens living in the EU. For the many farmers, regions, businesses and universities who benefit from the EU budget. For those concerned by other separation issues, such as the protection of geographical indications, like Gorgonzola or Scotch whisky, and for the problems that Brexit has created for the island of Ireland, this agreement protects the peace and stability in the island of Ireland, but also protects our single market. Ladies and gentlemen, in these negotiations, there is no dogmatism on our part. We have simply looked for pragmatic solutions for the problems created by Brexit. The UK is leaving the EU. In doing so, it cannot also ask us to weaken the single market. President, ladies and gentlemen, the President Juncker and President Tusk told Prime Minister May that we will not reopen the withdrawal agreement. It is a carefully balanced compromise between the EU and the UK, but we are open to more ambition when it comes to our future relationship. The joint political declaration outlines a broad future relationship. We could go even further if the UK's red lines evolve. For instance, we are open to the principle of a permanent customs union should the UK want it. The UK will also be able to take part in EU programs that are open to third countries under the relevant conditions. If the UK respects this condition, and in particular if it contributes to the EU budget, Italian students could be in a position to study in the UK under the Erasmus programme, even after Brexit. And British universities would still be eligible for research projects with their European partners. Since day one, the EU's position has been clear, and since November 2018, we have a withdrawal agreement that we agreed with the UK government, not against the UK government. It is now time for each side to take their responsibilities and face the consequences of their choices. If there is no positive majority in the UK in favour of the deal, then the UK will leave the EU without an agreement. This is clearly not our scenario, but the EU is prepared for it. Ladies and gentlemen, for 2 years now, we have dealt with the consequences of Brexit. But we must also draw from the lessons of Brexit and ask ourselves why 52% of the British people voted to leave the EU. During the campaign, there were misleading statements and a lack of information about the EU. But there was also a feeling that Europe does not listen to people, a Europe that does not protect them against the downsides of globalization, a Europe that does not provide a better future for Europeans. We must listen to this. We must understand where it comes from and respond to it by acknowledging that Europe made some errors, by going back to the foundation of the European project. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the point of the European project? What should the point be? Since the Treaty of Rome, Europe is about pooling resources to build common goods. The European coal and steel community first, the common agriculture policy, our cohesion policy, our common currency, the euro. We must take care of these common goods. We are all co-owners of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we can be proud of these common goods. Of course, we need our nations, our national identities, cultures and traditions. But our nations alone will not be in a position to tackle global challenges like climate change, migrations, industrial change or terrorism. To tackle these challenges, we need to build new common goods. Together, we need to build a green Europe. Europe should be the first carbon neutral economy by 2050. We need to invest in key technologies like the new generation of solar panels, green chemistry and batteries. Together, we must invest in basic skills for coding, artificial intelligence and data analysis. Together, we must progress towards common European defense. In Europe, our national budgets fund 17 different tanker systems. The US funds only one system. We also need to pool defense equipment as proposed by President Juncker. And of course, together, we must build a common system for the management of our external borders. We also need a genuine common asylum policy while continuing to work with the country of origin and the root causes of migration. Ladies and gentlemen, none of these projects will happen without you. In a few months of years, you will graduate from one or two of the best universities in Europe. Most of you will have studied abroad thanks to the Erasmus program, thanks to research programs funded by the EU, or simply thanks to the free movement of people. This surely all seems natural to you, but don't forget that these achievements are fragile, sometimes very fragile, and that sudden breathtaking is possible. Do not take anything for granted. If you want to preserve these achievements, you must fight for them. Share your vision of Europe. Engage yourself in particular ahead of the European elections. Your words, your actions will have more weight than you might think. Thank you very much for your attention.